I can't do it. Okay. We'll do it live.
Okay.
We'll do it live. It. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live. Thing sucks.
Here we go. It is August 15th. It is a Friday. We've made it to another week. You are watching and listening to the Daily Puck Drop. We are with you Monday through Friday, live at 10 a.m. on YouTube, X, and the Puck Sports mobile app. If you don't have the mobile app, please download it today. Now, once the live show is over, we podcast everything up on YouTube and wherever you find your podcast, your favorite podcast. Platform does not matter. Also, find everything up at pucksports.com. As always, we broadcast live from the Limbach Lumber Studios. Contractors, they got free deliveries, everything from whole house packages to homeowner DIY projects. They're the best in the business. They've been doing it since 1930. Trust them. All right. Tell them I sent you as well. 206-782-3487. Visit them online at limbachlumber.com. Follow me on Twitter, X, Instagram, and Blue Sky at Puck Sports. You can find everything also on Facebook, Puck Sports, and on TikTok, Puck_Sports. And as we always mention, if you like to support this platform we do every single day, all the free content plus bonus shows, go to pucksports.com, sign up to become a Puck's Posse member. All right, well, we'll quickly touch on the Ems faltering in Baltimore, which is what a terrible series. We got a little quick preview, Seahawks and Chiefs. Name, image, and likeness is in high school sports. Jon Manley is going to join me in about 6 minutes. Terrific high school prep reporter for the TNT. He's got this story on two prominent Tacoma athletes who have just officially signed NIL deals. So we'll talk to Jon coming up in about 6 minutes and get the very latest on that. Chris Egan, I'm sure he's got a thought on that when he's back from Alaska. He will join us coming up at around 10:20 or so. And hey, what the puck to wrap up the show. There is no go-to guy today. The guy works hard, I'll tell you that. He is moving his kids back into college, so he has got the day off, and so he's moving in Mikey and Stevie in the U-Haul. But I do want to mention on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, Jim is brought to you by A Clean Streak, a professional window and exterior cleaning services. Big thanks to Brian Turner for sponsoring that. Also, Brotherton Cadillac, Brad Brotherton, and the fine folks over there. You can go visit both websites, acleanstreak.com and brothertoncadillac.com. All right, Mariners, yes, what a craptastic 5-3 loss. They're now a game and a half back of Houston, who was idle. They finished the season 1-5 against Baltimore. It was just an all-around crappy 3-game series. And yesterday was miserable because they had a 2.5-hour rain delay, just all of it. For some reason, they can't beat the Orioles. They scored 7 runs in this series against the Orioles. Their offense was completely non-existent in it. Despite it looking better since the trade deadline, Randy Arozarena had a rough series, hit under 100. His OPS was under 237. Cal didn't get a hit in the series after having, before that 3 home runs in a few days. Eugenio Suarez, who Tim Booth wrote about today in the Seattle Times, he continues to struggle immensely at the plate. 114 is 167, 182, 348 slash line, 17 strikeouts, and just in 3 walks. The highlight I thought of yesterday's ball game, if you were watching, happened in the 4th inning, ladies and gentlemen. A little league double steal. 1st and 3rd, 2 outs. Guy breaks for 2nd, hoping, just like in Little League, the catcher throws down. Because what happens if the catcher throws down? The guy at 3rd is going to break for home. Now, the base paths are longer, so it's not as easy. You got to get in a little bit of a rundown, and they're professional, and so they would know to cut it off like they did, but then why are we throwing down? What in God's name, with 2 outs, would you do that? He doesn't even have a good arm. And then to listen to God, he played the position. He's a nice man, but to hear Dan Wilson say after the game, we wanted to throw through there. Again, we just didn't execute the way we wanted. Why are you doing it anyways? Who cares about the runner going to second? You have 2 outs. Just get the out. Just worry about the guy at the plate. Why are you worried about the guy going to second base? It's inexcusable. That's just. By the way, when people and Tim Booth, second reference for Tim Booth today, by the way, reference that as a little league play. Little leaguers know better than to do that. Our team knows better. Like the team I coached, it was a rough, playoffs. But hey, listen, we knew better not to throw down there. What are you doing? It's just, that's an absolute head. And then to see that quote afterwards, well, we intended to do that. Okay. That, I don't know. That was just, that's bad baseball. Bad baseball right there. Logan Evans not sharp. Leadoff walks second, third, and fourth. Likely his last start. Bryce Miller will be back in the rotation next week against the Phillies. Positive. Hey, positive was Julio. Julio hit his 24th home run. Now 6 home runs and 7 stolen bases away from another 30-30 season. Be interesting to say today to see what the lineup looks like. Jon Manley lefties on the mound as they start a 3-game series against the Mets. Do we see Dylan Moore back in there? What will he do? Is Canzone going to play right field? So we'll see what Dan Wilson has in store for the series that starts tonight. Luis Castillo gets the start against Manley. Tomorrow it's Brian Wu against Nolan McLean. McLean is making his major league debut. He's a 3rd overall prospect in the New York Mets organization, 24-year-old. He has struck out 127 batters in 113 innings. And then Sunday in the Little League game in Williamsport, you got George Kirby against Clay Holmes. Houston wants to go 3-game series against the Orioles. And then after that, they head to Detroit to take on the Detroit Tigers. We will get you the Seahawks and Chiefs tonight, 7 o'clock. Just a quick rundown of it. Expect to see some of the starters in action tonight. How many starters, we don't know. Sam Darnold and company maybe gets a series. Well, certainly a series, but how many series do they get? Offensive line will probably look the same that you saw in the Raiders game. You're not going to see Charles Cross, nor will you see Oluwatimi. I'm intrigued with whether or not they're going to see Ken Walker tonight. I'd love to see Ken Walker get a rep or two. Excited to see JSN and Cooper Kupp take the field for the very first time. And then Marquez Valdez-Scantling. We talked a lot about him this week. He was a huge topic when Dugar and I did the show on Monday, whether or not he would be a camp casualty. We'll wait and see on that one. Does he need to have a big game? He ran a little bit more with the ones this week. But again, a guy that does not play a special team. And then here's what I really want to see tonight as they take on the Chiefs. I want Robbie Oots to take someone's head off through the A-gap. Just rip someone's head off on some lead where he just blows up a linebacker. That's all I want because I love a fullback, and I want to see that happen. All right. High school sports, name, image, and likeness. It was a matter of time before the NIL world hit high school athletics. In fact, it already has hit the high school realm. I was just, in fact, talking to someone yesterday about a local shoe company that is now hooking up these athletes with shoes, identifying kids in high school already. So it's already been going on. But we got our first public taste of it yesterday with a story that was reported by our next guest, Jon Manley of the Tacoma News-Tribune. Jon, welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm doing well, Jason. How are you?
I'm doing great. All right, for people that don't know the story, give us the latest and the story that you broke over the Tacoma News-Tribune.
Yeah, like you had said, I think, in states like Texas and California, this has been, already happening. And there's probably some, really prominent, maybe, sons of NFL or NBA players that have, you'll see names like that, but it hasn't quite hit to this level. And in Tacoma, like we saw yesterday, a couple of Tacoma high school football stars, Lincoln 4-star quarterback Sione Kaho, and Mount Tahoma corner Elijah Durr, who's a UW commit. They signed separate deals yesterday with a local burger joint called Secret Burger Kitchen, who they have a location in Tacoma. They've got one up in Seattle. I think it's in Capitol Hill, and they're opening another one up by the University of Washington. And kind of have ambitions to go national. So, but anyways, so these 2 high school players in Tacoma signed a deal with them, and it gives them some financial compensation each month. It's a 6-month contract with an option to extend, and I think they get some free burgers on top of it. That's a nice perk, especially when you're a teenager. I think. Do you have a teenager, Jason? I think you know.
I do. Yes. I mean, I'm going to get her an NIL deal right now. I'll guarantee that. Really, I'm not going to pay her, but I'm going to find somebody that's going to get her an NIL deal.
Yeah, and especially teenage boys, I would think, eat a lot. So some free burgers, that's a nice perk. But in exchange for the financial side of it, they'll kind of promote the burger place on their social media accounts and show up to some pop-up events in the community. They have to, I think once a month they go do a little community service and help hand out some burgers to some people in need. And so they kind of got to hold their end up of the bargain as well. But it gives them, some money in their pockets. So and as far as I'm aware, it's the first that I've heard of in Tacoma. I reached out to the WIAA, and they said they're aware of a few in the last couple of years, but they didn't give me any names. But I haven't heard of any around the state as far as at least prominent football Division I recruits or high-level basketball players. So this was kind of the first that I'm aware of in the state. I'd seen someone commented it might have been a runner that signed a shoe deal or something like that. But as far as future D1 football players, this is the first I'm aware of.
Well, I've been told that Brooks Running Shoe, who is located in Seattle, is doing this. They are reaching out to high school athletes in the state to get them to be, I don't know what you call it, brand ambassadors.
Sure.
Or to wear the shoes, in hopes to, continue, they identify these top athletes that are runners, and then hopefully they continue to wear Brooks Running shoes throughout. Do we know, John, the financial details? You said a 6-month contract, but do we know how much they're making? Yeah,
on the record, they didn't want to go. They didn't want to disclose that, but off the record, they told me it's a solid amount of cash, Jason. I mean, it's for a high school kid, it's going to put a little money in their pockets. So, I think they'll be doing okay, and they'll like to have that money in their bank accounts. It's nothing great. I mean, it's not 6 figures. It's not whatever an Archie Manning is going to get or something, but if you're training and playing football year round and you don't have time to necessarily pick up a part-time job right now, it's a little spending money.
Why this restaurant? Why were they the ones to step up?
Yeah, it's actually an interesting backstory with this restaurant. I don't want to get too into it on the backstory of this restaurant, but the owner is just, I'll sum it up kind of quickly. The owner, his parents immigrated from India in the late 1960s. He grew up, they bought a kind of a cheap motel, it sounds like, in Auburn. And he grew up, I guess, with his sibling or siblings. I don't know how many there were. Just kind of he said they hated weekends and summers because all they did was clean rooms and mow the lawn and that sort of thing. They had to kind of keep the motel up, but he kind of learned hard work and the ins and outs of the hospitality business and the motel business, and then went to college for tech, worked at a number of tech companies, and was kind of investing in the meantime and purchased this hotel, which I think was under a different name at some point, renovated it. And now it's a Holiday Inn there on Hosmer Street in Tacoma. So he owns this hotel, and he was trying to kind of figure out how to make the hotel restaurants apparently don't make money. They lose money. It's just kind of an amenity. The only people really eating there are hotel guests, and a lot of the time maybe they don't even eat there. And so he wanted to figure out, how do I make this thing stop losing me money? And he came up with this idea to kind of open this. He called it the Secret Burger Kitchen, and it's just this kitchen that operated out of the hotel. But John, no connection with the athletes, no connection with the schools. There's no. Okay. I was just curious if there was a connection with the 2 athletes that received the. But he's just been big on. Anyways, I'm sorry, I'm being long-winded here, but he's been really big on just kind of using influencers and social media and stuff to get the word out about this restaurant. And so I think this kind of is his MO. And now the next thing is, trying to get it with the younger kids and the high school community. And he's just really big on supporting the community, he told me, and doing this community service and engaging with the kids and that sort of thing. So
John, what are the rules associated with this in terms of what the athletes can and can't do?
Yeah, so there's not really any restrictions as far as the WIA is concerned. They don't have to go through really any lengthy process to do this. The WIA doesn't prohibit them from having NIL deals or any kind of compensation. The one caveat is they can't use their school logo. They can't use the school's name in any kind of endorsement. So if they're doing a social media ad or a photo shoot or whatever, they can't wear a Lincoln thing on their chest. They can't wear a Lincoln hat. So I don't know if you saw in the story in the News-Tribune, it was just a Tacoma shirt, I think Sione was wearing, and Elijah was wearing some kind of different thing. It didn't say Mount Tahoma on it. So that's the one thing that can, I guess, ruin their amateur standing if they were to do that. So that's the one thing they have to be careful of, is to not represent the school. But other than that, there's not really much restriction. They're allowed to go make some cash.
So just to be clear, there really is no role for the WIA in this.
No, I don't think they're. I think the only way they would get involved is if there was some kind of blatant violation that was brought to their attention.
Oh, and trust me, there's going to be no blatant violations of this. No one is going to take advantage of this situation whatsoever. I'm curious. I read the comments from the Lincoln High School football coach, and I'm just going to be honest with you. I read it when I read his comments to you. I read it as a PR person talking to me, and I wonder if that's how he really feels.
What comment are you referencing?
Well, just how supportive he is of this, and how this is great news for his player to get this. I'm paraphrasing. I don't. Maybe he truly believes this, but I am curious how the coaches really feel about this.
Well,
you think they're supportive of it?
Yeah, I think it's two things. I think, first of all, I think Masaki thinks the world of Sione and his family. So I think he's genuinely happy for him that he would get this kind of deal, and kind of allows him to propel, a slight side of a business career perhaps, and learn how to start negotiating deals and that sort of thing. But yeah, I think there's probably an aspect also that it's like, hey, especially now that there's this one-time transfer rule, and I don't think it's necessarily Masaki. I think it's probably every coach, right? Is hey, look what we got going on here at Lincoln High School. If you were able to, or I don't know, maybe it's Puyallup or Graham Kapowson or whoever, right? It's if you're able to start inking some kids to these deals, it suddenly makes it a little more attractive to transfer there. So yeah, I think it's a win-win for the coaches. They're genuinely happy for their kids and their families, and also it's not a bad thing for the reputation of their football program also.
Well, go get the very latest. A great job of breaking that story and getting that story, John. Jon Manley of the Tacoma News-Tribune, prep sports writer, with the very latest on the NIL world infiltrating high school athletics, including two prominent stars there down in Tacoma playing football. John, appreciate the time. Thanks for doing it.
All right, Jason, have a good one.
You too. There he is, Jon Manley. Name, image, and likeness coming to high school athletics. If our next guest was still in high school, what company or establishment down in Puyallup would he want to endorse? Ladies and gentlemen, he is back from fishing in Alaska, pretending to be a real man, with shots of eagles and the American flag and real cocktails in front of him. From King 5, it is Chris Egan. Chris, when you go on one of these fishing trips to Alaska, and I know that lodge, it's a floating lodge in the middle of nowhere, you're supposed to get away from all social media in your phone. But every time I opened up my Instagram app on my phone, there's another shot of you holding up a fish. Put it away.
Fuck, I would have an hour for dinner, and I wanted to make sure the family knew I was okay. So, the best way to let them know I'm okay is a shot of myself with a king salmon, with a silver salmon, maybe an eagle on my shoulder. And I'm going to say this, Puck. You say that jokingly, and I'm gonna recommend to everybody to get away on one of these trips because literally I had my phone for maybe a half an hour a day. And so this is, we live in a world where that phone is by our side at all times, and it is so freeing to just go out there and live without that phone by your side. But when I got back to the lodge and was getting, we had appetizers before dinner, I would, send out a couple posts, let the wife and kids know, hey, Dad's doing all right. Because Puck, I'm going to be honest with you. This was a phenomenal place. I'm gonna talk about this place and its ties to Washington State University. I walk into this lodge, Tanaku Lodge in Elfin Cove, population 20, and there's Cougar jerseys everywhere. And we'll get to that story in a second. But day 2, Puck, we're the first boat out, and we get out there, and you're in the ocean, and I can see our captain, who was absolutely phenomenal, and he's probably the reason why I'm here right now, Captain Hayden. But the storms, you'll hear the phrase, the storms were rough that day. The seas were rough that day, and we found ourselves in the middle of 13 to 15-foot swells, which if anybody knows the term swells, that's 15 swell is a 30-foot wave.
Yeah, I've been there before.
And I could see the fear in my dad's eyes, in my brother's eyes, in my brother-in-law's eyes. And then I'm literally like, okay, we're the life preservers. What happens if we tip? Who's getting Dad? Your mind starts going this way. And then you hear
when do I push brother Mike over?
Yeah, exactly. Like, and where's land at? Because anything can happen out there. And a second captain calls in. He's like, hey, Captain, how are you doing out there? He's like, don't even think about it. Do not come our way. And I'm like, okay. And I have to give this guy, Captain Hayden, so much credit because as a captain of a boat, you're not only putting yourself, your deckhand, the 3 people you're taking on this boat lives, in their hands. But I started looking around and, he's got my wife, my 3 kids that he's got to be thinking about. He's got my brother's wife and 2 kids, my brother-in-law's wife and 2 kids, my dad, So it was just like for him, he got us out of there safely. We ended up finding a nice quiet spot and limited out on silver salmon. And I mean, it was just a beautiful trip. But Puck, I couldn't believe it. I walk into this lodge and there's cougar stuff everywhere.
Yeah, and it's owned by a cougar.
Susan Meyer went to Washington State University, and Bill Moose used to bring up 24 people is what they max out at this place. He would bring up 22 Washington State boosters, himself and a Coug football player, and they would fish and raise money for the Washington State Athletic Department. And it was one of the best things. I don't know if they do it anymore. It doesn't sound like they do, but it sounds like Bill Moose was kind of big on this, but they would raise huge money up there for Washington State University in this tiny little town called Elfin Cove. So I was proud to, get some shots of Mike Leach was at that cabin you're looking at right there. Mike Leach fished in those waters. Jason Gesser, many other Cougs have been up there fishing. So it's pretty cool stuff. So it was fun, incredible trip. I wish I could post some video, but politically it probably wouldn't be correct of a sea lion eating 2 of our salmon as we were reeling them in. And my dad,
who cares about that? Who's going to get upset about that?
My dad's language, 83-year-old Ed Egan just started he was letting the sea lion have it. And I just don't want his grandkids to hear that language.
They've heard, he goes to their sporting events. They've heard it. How do you pronounce? Is it Tanaku Lodge?
Tanaku Lodge. Lodge. Hey, you fly into Juneau.
Puck Sports here for Tanaku Lodge. Hey, Coug fans and all fans, Husky fans, Duck fans, you want to get away and experience the best in isolation, in fishing, and what it's like to be a man again. Tanaku Lodge is the place for you. Book your next reservation at a world-renowned fishing escape where it takes you back to yesteryears. Tanaku Lodge, proud sponsor of pucksports.com. Can we
There we
send
go.
that to Susan? Hey, Susan, I'm
Yeah.
a Coug. He's not even a Coug.
I'm not a Coug.
And you let him go there.
Yeah, I'm
pretty sure that you got this trip for free too.
No, I can guarantee that because my wife saw the bill. So yeah, we did
you were
not.
doing a lot of social media posts, and I'm thinking, this son of a gun did what I like to do, and that means, you know, hey, Egan, we'll give you the trip. Why don't you post a few things a day?
No, that did not happen.
Move.
No, unfortunately, that did not happen because you can look at my bills there. It was
it looks beautiful. I'm showing people that are watching the video. You can go back. TanakuLodge.com is the website. Go for those just listening. Go back and see it. It is. I've seen pictures of it before. It just looks spectacular. And do you fly in on a float plane?
No, well, now they've changed it because it gets fogged in so much. So you take this catamaran ride, which is a 2.5 hour ride, which is just fascinating to me because this is kind of a side thing. You know, when you land in Juneau, you got to take this catamaran. Well, a lot of people go to Alaska just for the catamaran because what do we see on the catamaran? We see just ponds of humpback whales and orcas on the trip over, and this is just kind of like a little bonus trip over there. I mean, and it's just one of those. We land in Juneau at the airport, and it's about a 10-minute drive into downtown Juneau, and we're driving in, and I'm like, bear. Grizzly bear. Like, everybody see that? Sure enough, there's a little grizzly bear, not little, big grizzly bear over there on the waterfront. And then, I mean, you see everything: orcas, whales, seals, otters. I mean, it just, I saw something I've never seen before, Puck. I caught a bass. I'm reeling the bass head, a sea bass, and all of a sudden my line just goes crazy and it gets eaten by like a 50-pound lingcod who eats my bass. So the bass eats my bait. The lingcod then eats what I've caught. And then it comes up to the surface and it does what's called a death barrel roll. And it just starts spinning like this, trying to kill my bass. And I'm like going, what is happening? It's like, it's just mutual of Omaha wildlife every second you turn. But
how much did you come back with?
We had 9 boxes, 50 pounds each. So Puck, I'll be bringing you some salmon. And we had last night, the wife made it. We caught black cod, which was 1,000 feet deep. It's 1,000 feet
so
deep.
Good. And
my wife did the miso cod recipe.
Yes.
And it's probably now my favorite fish of all time to eat.
Black cod is
it was incredible. Yeah, it was incredible. It was a great
pictures that you shared. I mean, it's not just a fishing lodge; it's like a 5-star resort.
Well, and I tell this to everybody. The 2 owners worked for Marriott Hotels, and they got this land, and they said, "Hey, we can't control what you catch every day, but we can control that when you get home, you're going to have some cold Alaskan beer, some IPA, some appetizers. You're going to have a nice dinner. If you need some whiskey, whatever, and
whatever you want."
Yeah. So I mean, we were in the hot tub every night, Puck, with shots of whiskey, just sitting back, and then they hire. They have all these amazing captains, but then they get these deckhands, which are a lot of college kids, and they work their tail off. I mean,
and they live up there, and they just
live up there
in cabins around the lodge.
Around the lodge, there's kind of they basically are there from May through September, and then they shut the thing down. But
and Chris, where's they go into town? Where are they going?
So there's a town called Elfin Cove, which has a small grocery store.
Okay.
And then they have the Kaho bar, which I go,
I'm in.
I go, can we go over to the Kaho bar? And they're like, yeah, I think Marge is working there today. And Marge owns it. And it's open whenever Marge wants it to be open and closes whenever Marge wants it to be closed. And she's been there 30 years. And she had all this beer in there. I go, Marge, what's your number 1 beer? She goes, not even close. Not even close. And I'm telling you, Puck, if I could go back, I would bring more of this gear because everybody wanted it. I gave everything I had away. Number 1 beer, Rainier beer. I went up there with 3 Tacoma Rainiers hats. I came home with 0 because they were. Everybody loved the Rainiers logo.
Hold on, Chris. Hold on 1 second. I'm gonna give you a better beer. And listen. Rainier's got a great history here, but the problem with Rainier beer, not made here anymore.
No, I know. That's
made here. Tavern Beer, Georgetown Brewery.
I need to bring some of that up. I need some cases.
There. That is a fine beer by a local brewery. But I hear you. I mean, your Rainer's got its cachet.
Yeah,
so
it's got its cachet.
How many people live there?
You said 20 full time. But during the fishing season, that jumps up to like 200 because there's like 5 fishing lodges in this area. So, and they all,
do the owners live up there? Susan live up there?
Just part-time. And, Puck, you ready for something else?
Oh, man, I got to go. I got to go up there.
So Susan has a bison ranch in Montana that her family owns. Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't we have a bison ranch?
Of course.
Puck, we had bison burger one night. The best hamburger I have ever had in my life.
I bet.
The best.
How much weight did you put on this trip?
Oh, my bibs were getting tight near the end of this thing.
What a great trip. And you went with your dad and your brother?
Dad, brother, and brother-in-law. Yeah.
Oh, so what a great trip.
It was, and we celebrated Brother Brian, who
good. He loved going on those trips.
Oh, he did. And the last day I couldn't miss anything. I was like hooking everything. And I was like, I feel like Brother Brian has taken over because there were early on, Kaho salmon have these, you'll catch like 50% of them. And my dad was just starting to put too much pressure on us. If we miss one, he'd be like, dang it, bring it in. And be like, Dad, I'm not trying to miss the fish. I am trying to hook the fish.
I love your dad so much.
And then the last day it was just like, got him.
That's right, son. Get your back into it.
He just kept saying, he was just putting way too much pressure on all 3 of us, all the boys, like that we had to hit every fish. But it was fun. I recommend anybody that can get away, to do it at least once in your life. I have no idea when I'll be back, but I'd love to take my boys up there one day, and so
I gotta go. It just looks. Who I want to interview is Marge. I want to know, Marge, does she live up there the entire time?
Oh, she's full time. She's full time.
Oh man,
yeah. She's full time in that Kaho bar.
Ooh, I bet she's got some stories.
Oh yeah,
boy, does she have some stories. Marge,
and I literally go, "Do you take credit card? Cash better."
Marge, I mean credit card. You probably went in there. Excuse me, Apple Pay. Friggin' idiot.
And by the way, Puck, this was the best. We're fishing for salmon, and all of a sudden, like I'd never seen a crew get so excited. A shark fin comes up behind us, and literally, it's like, "Do you guys want to go shark fishing?" The captain and the deckhand. I'm like, why not?
No.
So they literally throw a large. You catch silvers, kings, and pinks. They keep the pinks for halibut bait, but they throw a large pink on a hook and just throw it out there, and all of a sudden we're fishing for sharks. So that's another new experience for me there.
Did you catch one?
I did not catch a shark, no, but would have been fun.
If Chris Egan were an athlete today, like these 2 Tacoma football players, you just heard, you were in there the last few minutes in hearing Jon Manley's story that he had yesterday in the Tacoma News-Tribune. 2 prominent football players, one from Lincoln, one from Mount Tahoma. 2 great football players who have inked an NIL deal with a burger restaurant down in Tacoma. But if Egan were playing today in Puyallup, who would you want?
Well, I dream big, Puck, and you got to go big. And so I would. There's, you could. And this burger place is great. Don's Drive-In is a place I used to go. It hasn't been open since a car went into it. But I would dream big, and I would start big, and I would start with the biggest in the city of Puyallup. That's the Washington State Fair.
I knew you were going to go there.
Why wouldn't you have the Washington State Fair as one of your sponsors?
Agreed.
Scones, onion burgers.
I would just want to be brought to you by the elephant ear. Here's Chris Egan coming down the court. Look at him move. By the way, Chris Egan brought to you by Elephant Ear. Get it at the Washington State Fair.
And I would work that thing big time back in high school. So it's I saw John's story. It's gonna get interesting, Puck. It's just
well, that sigh tells me that you're concerned about it.
Sure, because now schools that have money are going to be able to go after. I mean, we've already had power teams because schools have gone after athletes and provided full ride scholarships and to their private schools. Now you start providing money and things like that, and it's a slippery slope. I'm not a big fan of it, to be honest with you. So,
here's the thing. Here's where the worry comes in, and I know someone said, "Well, why do you care? These kids are doing something great for the community." I get that. It's the adults that are going to ruin this.
Yeah, it's the parents.
It's the parents and the adults and boosters from other schools that will ruin this. And again, it's just like in college. It all starts with a great intention of helping out kids who need a little bit more money in their pocket, but eventually it turns into it just is a legal way to funnel money to get kids to transfer.
Well,
that's what happens with this.
Let's just say I have Mel Egan Real Estate has a phenomenal year, the best ever. And all of a sudden we got just excess money. Why wouldn't I go around and you like that drop there?
By the way, I think Mel Egan should start sponsoring some of these kids in Puyallup or at Rogers.
Well, sure. I mean, we got Luke Egan, a point guard for Rogers High. Why wouldn't we go out and find a center, a power forward, a 3 and a 2 guard to surround Luke with, and
then
go
tattoo, and then they all get tattooed on their forearm, Mel Egan Real Estate.
Yeah, boom, and and sure enough, they all get nice homes in Puyallup, and then we, But my point is all that money worth a state title or a SPSL championship? I'm like, no, not really. So,
well, I think it is going to be fascinating to follow and watch.
Yeah,
I just think that it's one of those things where it sounds good on paper, and then you're just going to start hearing. And now, because John brought it up when he was on with us, brought it up that you almost forgot about this now one-time transfer rule that you can have.
Yeah, and coaches have to protect the athletes they have, because at one point they can just go wherever they want. So we got that. I mean, it's just there's still. Yeah, and it's coming up quick. We're 2 weeks away, Puck, from high school season.
Yes, we are. Do we know what the first official Big 5 game of the week is?
We're going to break some news here with Puck Sports. This is breaking news. I don't think it's been announced, and I've been gone in Alaska, so if somebody gets mad at me for breaking it here, that's okay. We had meetings with the WIAA. And the big complaint about the big game for the last 15 years is it was just little clips here and there. So we will be streaming the entire big game on King 5 Plus, so you can go on and watch the entire big game. We'll still have the fun stuff with the cheerleaders and the bands before and after the game, but for anybody that goes home is like, God, they just didn't have the highlight. We're going to have the entire game for them this year. So
who's doing the game?
Yours truly. They said, Chris, no potty break or lunch break or dinner break. As soon as you're done with that live shot, you're going to go up and do the play-by-play. When you get done with the game, then you'll do your 10 o'clock live shot, 11 o'clock live shot, and then we'll see you on Saturday for your normal shift. So we'll see. Wait a
minute. Hold on. Wait a minute.
That's what I've been told, Buck.
Time out.
Yeah.
You for people who don't know, when you go to these games, they start at 7. You get there roughly at what time?
3:45, 4. Yeah.
So you're going to get there at 4. You're going to do you're going to do all your stuff that you do, the pregame hits.
The bands, the cheerleaders,
the crowd surfing,
tailgating,
all of it. And then you're wrapping that up. Then you're going upstairs and putting on a headset.
Yeah.
And you're calling the game from a press box, or I mean, some of these don't have press boxes.
No, they don't. That's what I kind of had to warn them. Like, it could be from a table.
Who's filming the game, though?
We have 2 cameras. One that will be up above, locked in, and then one down below.
This I can't wait for this. Now, who's is it? Just you? Who's with you?
Sometimes it will be a special guest, a high school student. We can... Puck, this is not a high budget operation.
Well, I'm laughing because just have
you've done it,
in the media world and just understanding how these big things work, and they're like, he'll do it, and we'll make it work, and it's all
I know.
So it's kind of up in the air who's going to be there with you. I'll stop on by with you. Can I jump up there with you
anytime? We're gonna have 2 headsets, so
I'm in. I am in.
It could be, Skylar, who's a sophomore from Eastlake, who's in a broadcasting degree.
Wait till you turn on. Hey, Skylar, it's a 3rd down and 10. Johnson rolls to the leg, complete. First down there from Mount Tahoma. It's a first down. Skylar, it's a nice pass. Yep.
Puck, I think every Friday night, and I'm going to be Puck. I'm going to be honest with you. There's many times I look at these rosters and I have no idea how to pronounce these names.
Of course not. I mean, and you don't have time. And this is what I'm talking about. This is not having done high school sports forever in these games. And then I see, I've friends that do it at a professional level and friends that I've, went to school with who do it at the collegiate level. And you have to understand that there is a system now. There's a guy who runs a website that prints out all the spotter boards with all the information on it. These play-by-play guys don't do anything anymore.
No.
Nothing. They get this. There's a company that does it all for them. The rosters, the starters, the 2-deeps, the stats, all of it. In high school, you have to do everything. You got to call the coaches. Hey, who's starting for you? Sometimes they won't tell you. Sometimes who the starters. Then you got to get the pronunciations of the kids' names.
And let's be honest, it's high school. Sometimes they switch jerseys at the last second.
Of course,
you've got different guys, and then it's like I'll be literally dropping back, Sefu Lufa Suta.
When in doubt, since you're on TV, you don't even have to. I guess you don't have to say this person's name if you can. I mean, radio, I would just be like, "Yep, all's complete. Now on the boundary, first down, Lincoln."
Yeah, and I was taught that in radio. I did a soccer game once in radio, and the producer's like, people don't know you can be 5 seconds behind and be okay. Play it safe. But on TV, you can't do that. You can't, you're live.
And here's what I want. Can I sit in? If you have a game involving Bellevue, can I sit in? Because I want to see you do the wing tee and just see how far. And the ball's handed. No, wait, he doesn't have. Who the hell has the goddamn ball?
Touchdown! There
Touchdown, Wolverines!
Number 12. We love him.
You'll never know where the ball is with those guys ever.
So. I give King Pong credit for trying. We'll see what happens, Buck. It's going to be. We'll probably have little audio clips that we can play on this show. For each week.
Trust me, I'll find them. I cannot wait.
So we got that.
What's the first game? Do we know?
I think it's going to be. I need to make the call to beautiful Graham Kapowson hosting O'Day. Monty Kohler going for a historic win at Arch Crate Stadium. So that I believe is a week 1 game, and
that would be win number what for him?
I think that's the record setter. I believe.
So he passes. It's Otten, right?
He passes Sid Otten with that win, I believe. Which
and that's actually
that win over. Getting GK a win over that's not going to be a gimme either, though, for O'Day. So.
Now, a good game for you to break in play-by-play with O'Day, because it's all it is lead right, lead left, fullback dive. There's 3.
See, that's why I may need you down at Art Crate for week 1.
3 plays is all you're going to have. See, there's no throwing for Monty.
This will be me, Puck, every week. I'll be just going to my fellow broadcasters like you. hey, I can't pay you, but I can give you 2 fillets of salmon and a rock bass if you.
You've done so much for me. I would be honored to come down and do a game with you. But can you just call the games in your Keith Jackson voice?
Whoa, Nelly, good Puyallup Vikings, Billy Joe Hobart. It would be more fun for the kids, but it is for the kids' sake because
So
a lot
cool.
of people we found out, Puck, will sometimes post just here's the highlights of Federal Way versus Decatur, and with no anchor, no sports anchor or anything on there, and it's like they get a few hits, but as soon as you put a voice behind it, like a sports broadcaster, like the kids go wild over that. They want to
Sure.
hear their name like it's on ESPN. So we're going to give it a try. We'll see what happens. It's not. I mean, it's like I'm looking into fall. And I'm thinking about, oh my God, we got Mariners, we got Huskies, we got the Seahawks. It won't be long before the Kraken. We got the Winter Olympics coming up, the NBA on NBC, and I'm like, okay, now we're streaming high school games. I'm like, okay,
Is September 4th? That's when it starts, September 4th.
I think so. Yeah, that's the first
Okay,
one.
a lot
Yeah.
of games. I'm just looking. I'm just peering. I'm
I
just
think the
looking at the games.
Spaghetti Bowl's taking place. I think you got Olympia Capitals going on that weekend.
Do we?
So.
Well, we got. I got a Kentwood. Really Covington High School against Emerald Ridge.
Oh, and Puck, don't make the mistake switching from high school down a notch to the 12 and 13-year-olds. I mentioned let's go Bonnie Lake, and
Sure.
folks in Sumner made sure I knew that it was Bonnie Lake Sumner Little League. It's not just the Bonnie
is it
Lake.
both of them? I thought it was just Bonnie Lake.
It's both of them together, apparently. So
that's a mouthful. Bonnie Lake Sumner.
That's what I thought.
How are there more? Here's what I want to know: are there more kids from Bonnie Lake on the team?
I believe so. And then I threw out
it's Bonnie Lake.
Then I asked that parent, I said, should I throw out Lake Taps? Because I know there's 2 kids from Lake Taps on the team. And then I'm like, I think there's 1 kid from Alderton on the team.
Hey, congratulations to Bonnie Lake Sumner, Lake Taps, and
Alderton.
Alderton.
Maybe one in Ording. I don't know. So it's like, so I think they play today, right, Puck? I'm just getting back in the sports thing.
Do they play? You know what? I don't know. Do they play today?
I think they may play at noon today. So
I'm surprised. I know you're going to be in the Graham Kapowson O'Day game. I thought you would be in the week 1 opener, September 5th. Would be Kashmir and Wapato.
Oh, no, that's a game. That would be. I do want to go to more small town games. I really do. Because
that would be.
If you could have, you go to the Kaho bar. By the way, Puck, you'll love this. We brought in back to Elephant Cove, but I just thought about this fun story. We brought
every time you say it, I think you're saying Elephant Cove.
Elephant Cove. We brought 3 bottles of Jack Daniels to the lodge, and we had one full one when I was leaving, and I came down to where they clean the fish the morning we were leaving. I go, hey, if anybody wants a 4 hands.
Oh, yeah. Anybody? And then it's like just pouncing right there in front of you.
Just fighting over the Jack Daniels. So I'll bring more Rainier beer at Jack Daniels.
More, okay. Did you, so were you able to follow along? You were there for a week?
For a week, yeah. We were up there for a week.
Did you have that? I mean, you had your internet, right? So you could
see
what the Mariners were doing?
I would pop on and check out America. It looks like they had a nice little homestand there with the Ichiro Hall of Fame.
Oh, it was great. You would have loved it. It was such a well done job by them.
Yeah. And you got to give credit to that Greg Green, Kevin Martinez. They've they put on a show. Tim Heavley with all the PR work with the Ichiro, and
so good.
So it was good, for somebody that was in Cooperstown. It's been a whirlwind, Puck. I was in Cooperstown, and we went to Utah with these U.S. speed skating teams, and to Alaska, and then finally back on with you. But I was excited to hear that he gave his speech in English, so all the Mariners fans could hear what we heard in Cooperstown. So, and I heard he did a phenomenal job with it. So,
it was great. It was great. He was so good. It was just well done by them, and how he sat and talked and spoke directly to Randy Johnson. It was great. Are you working tonight for the Seahawks game, or are they giving you tonight off?
No, there's no more nights off for me. I'll be on the anchor desk tonight, tomorrow, and Sunday. So I think we got Paul and Ariel over at the Seahawks game. I'll be in studio. with your Mariner highlights, Seahawks highlights. I think the Stormer in play. We got Little League action. So back, I had to literally, Puck, I shaved for you, but I had a full beard going here too.
Oh, I think we would have liked to see it. I think you should have brought it. You should have brought it back for the viewers.
I know. I didn't though. I wanted to clean up for you a little bit, Puck.
Well,
The wife is not happy that some of my clothing has a little fish smell to it. So
I would imagine that. I would imagine. Yeah, you are right. Bonnie Lake Sumner / Alder / Lake Taps plays today. You're right.
They play today.
Noon. Plays it about an hour or so from now on ESPN. So good luck.
When people get done wrapping up on this podcast, go on over and watch them. Yeah. And the Mariners, what are we off to the Mets now?
Mets, and then they play on Sunday. They play in Williamsport. They're part of that Little League World Series Classic there against the New York Mets. See if the M's can turn it around after just a disaster series there with the
Baltimore,
with the Orioles. Yeah. So, all right. Seahawks game tonight is on where again?
I believe you can see that on the Big Five. That's King 5. Also, your new home to the NBA and the Winter Olympics fast approaching. The Winter Olympics taking place in Italy. They'll be coming around. In fact, Puck, we'll be having the Winter Olympics opening ceremony that weekend, and then the Super Bowl, also a little game called the Super Bowl on King 5, and then the following weekend, the NBA All-Star Game also on King 5 TV.
And don't forget
the big
King 5 Plus, your new home for the big game of the week with broadcaster also, Chris Egan.
I have to give a shout out because we have a lot of listeners from the West Coast Baseball League, the Collegiate League. My son's team, the Edmonton Riverhawks, had a nice run. They made it to the semifinals. They got taken out by the Bellingham Bells, who last night in a thriller, the Bellingham Bells, a great organization. They went down to Portland and they knocked off Hunter John Ryan's Portland Pickles, and the Bellingham Bells take home the West Coast League Championship. 2-1 your final last night from the Rose City. So congrats to the Bells. They had a good year there, so I know they're pretty proud up there in Bellingham. So.
All right, go eat some more salmon. Good to have you back.
Hey, I should be locked in from here on out the rest of the year, Puck. So because we got big games, they're not going to let me go anywhere on Friday.
I can't wait. All right, thank you, Chris. We'll see you on the television. Buddy. We'll talk to you next week.
All right, sounds good.
Chris Egan, King 5. The best in the business right there is Chris Egan talking all things about his trip to Alaska. Boy, that sounded fun. My God, did that look like a great time. We got to get a part of that thing. We got to talk to Susan. She's a Coug. Come on, Susan. Be a perfect match. Your Lodge and pucksports.com. All right, a couple more things coming up. Before we wrap it up, we got in other news, we got some previews of what you missed this week on the Puck's Posse shows. Also, Hey, What the Puck. Also, coming up right now, our weekly conversation. This is the second to last one. Next week will be the last one with our scout. Major League Baseball scout has been covering the sport for the past 30 years, been joining us all throughout the baseball season, giving you the very latest on all things Mariners and baseball. On this week's show, we talked about Dylan Moore. And the scout being around players like this, coaching players like this. How does someone like this get through the rut that they are in? Obviously, a lack of confidence. Also, options down in Tacoma. We talk a lot about Samad Taylor. We also get into Colt Emerson versus Cole Young, the future shortstops of this organization, in addition to that moving forward. Here's our weekly visit with the scout here on the Daily Puck Drop on pucksports.com. Joins us now. The real scoop on the Mariners and baseball from our anonymous baseball scout. Has been working baseball for the past 30 years. He joins us every single Friday here on the Daily Puck Drop and pucksports.com to give us the very latest. Scout, how are you, sir?
I'm great, Puck. How are you?
Doing great. The Mariners, they find themselves on the East Coast there on a road trip. Not good there against the Baltimore Orioles. They got a series coming up here with the Mets and the Phillies, and they've kind of hit a little bit of a speed bump here in their 3 games here with the Orioles. And specifically, the target of many frustration of the Mariner fans has been on Dylan Moore. I want to know from a guy that's been around the sport as long as you have, has been evaluating players forever. You've seen this at the minor league level. You've seen it at the major league level and the college level. Dylan Moore is a good baseball player. He's been a good baseball player for a while. This year has just not been the year for him. He clearly, Scout, is struggling with a ton of confidence at the plate and in the field. I mean, it's carrying over there to the field. How do you handle something like this when a player is going through it?
Well, I mean, first off, he's the longest tenured Mariner, right? So he brings some value. But the problem is, like you said, people are upset with Dylan Moore. They're upset with a guy that's not going to play. He has a very, very limited role, right? So it's just like, why be all that upset about? You're talking about your 27th guy. You're talking about your 28th guy. But he brings value to the field. But right now, he's just in a bad way, and but he has experience. So as they go into a playoff run, I guarantee the Mariners are thinking like, hey, this guy's been in some big moments and some big environments before. So, we're going to trust him a little bit more than somebody that maybe hasn't been in there before. Does that make sense?
Yeah. But, but you've also been on the other side of, there's the scouting side and the coaching side. How do you get through to a player like this? I mean, how does a player get past this? Because this baseball is crazy because it's just every single day. So, when it's going bad like this, it just piles up on you.
Yeah, they're a secret sauce. I would tell all the players I work with and the guys I coach. I mean, it's just baseball's a hard game, and then when you get in that funk, sometimes the field looks like a glove. And I'm quite sure right now he feels like, he's probably acting like he couldn't hit water if he fell out of a boat. But those things shall turn. Sometimes one at bat can just take your game to that next level. So for the Mariners, hope, because obviously they're in the playoff hunt right now, trying to get to World Series. There's going to be some place where he'll need to come up big for them, and I don't know him personally, but he sure seems like a guy that plays the game the right way, and plays hard and brings value to your team. Right now, he's just not bringing much value with the bat.
Scout, when you've seen people go through something similar like this, and in your experience being around the game for as long as you have, what are some things that you've seen others do, try, execute to get out of a slump like this that he's been in?
Like I said, there's no rhyme or reason. I think you just try to stay positive. You just try to stay as positive as you can, and then you're just hopeful, right? Sometimes it's pitch selection, sometimes it's hey, they're swinging at the wrong pitches, and sometimes it's all of it. It sounds like right now when it comes to Dylan, it's the wrong pitches, not making the good contact. Nothing is going right for him. So hopefully he'll just find a way to figure that out. But like I said, there is no rhyme or reason for that.
Yeah, and like you said earlier, if you knew what that answer was, right, to that question,
I'd be making millions.
You would be making millions and not talking to me on Fridays.
No, I'd be doing that for sure. I just, I guess I wouldn't be charging you as much.
What a name that has been brought up, because he has been playing quite well, and we haven't talked about him. We've talked about a lot of players in Tacoma. We have not talked about Samad Taylor. Give me your thoughts on him.
He's just a good player. Like I said, he's kind of a Ryan Bliss type, to be honest with you. They're very, very similar players where he can spell you at shortstop, he can play second base, he can spell you in center. He's just, those utility guys are guys that really excite players because you see him do something. But for me, guys like that, if you playing him every day over a long period of time, it's probably not a guy that's going to be, playing at a, putting numbers up at a high level. But I think he's one of those guys with speed and a little bit of bat speed. He does, and some versatility. He brings some great value to your team, but it's not a guy you can be counting on to be your everyday guy.
Sure, but do you think he could fill a role that Dylan Moore has occupied?
Oh, for sure, right? Yeah, absolutely, right? Because he runs as better than him, and he's obviously swinging the bat right now. Maybe not the big league level, but just how bad it's going for Dylan right now, you'd expect him that he might be able to swing the bat a little bit better right now.
Yeah, well, that'd be interesting to see what they do. I mean, rosters will expand here in September, but the versatility that he brings, and he can play kind of all the similar positions that Moore could play. You mentioned center field; he's been in the outfield a little bit, but has been primarily an infielder in his career. Correct?
Yeah, so he can play. He's an everyday second baseman, a quality defender at second, fringy defender at short, and probably a little slightly below average in the center just because of the lack of experience, but speed, and he's got more bat speed. He's got more sock than you would think. He's a little guy. He's very, very thin. Like I said, he's a Ryan Bliss type guy, but he takes a swing up there. He's looking to do damage.
Not that you would have any inside knowledge on what the organization would do, but I am curious when they do expand the rosters. I had a conversation with Seattle Times beat reporter Ryan Divish. He joins me every week, our MLB Insider show that's available for Puck's Posse members. And we had talked about, hey, when they do expand the rosters, is there a chance that Harry Ford comes up? Do you think that would be a wise decision by this organization when they do expand rosters to make him one of the guys they would bring up?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, they might be a role for him. Like I said, it's not like, the Mariners have a backup right now that's, playing great baseball for them. And Cal is going to need a little bit of some breathers from time to time. But, you also want guys that are experienced when it comes to playoff time. But I can definitely see Harry coming up in September and spelling him from time to time. Not a lot, because obviously they're in a pennant hunt. But you never know the way he's playing baseball. He could be that September call up and really give that Mariners another extra boost that they might need.
Scout, one other element of, let's say they make a decision with Dylan Moore, and again, as you and I are recording this, they have not made a decision with Dylan Moore. But if they do, that would leave a hole at backup shortstop. He is the primary backup there to JP. If they move on from him, Cole Young has played a lot of shortstop in the minor leagues. In fact, more than I remember when I went back and looked at his stats. In fact, he played more shortstop than he actually did second base. Now, that is a huge jump from the minors playing shortstop to the majors playing shortstop. How effective, how good would he be filling in there if they gave JP a breather for a game or two?
Yeah, he wouldn't be horrible. Yeah, like I said, I think he's going to be a below average everyday defender at short. But fringy average, like he's almost an average defender at shortstop, but probably a little bit below. But the game's about offense. As long as he's getting hits, honestly, Puck, nobody cares.
Yeah. But when you look at the future, and we've talked about Colt Emerson a lot. When we look at the future, Colt Emerson is the guy at shortstop, right?
Yeah, he's the true defender. Like I said, I think JP Crawford's your everyday shortstop next year, but I think the following year, Colt Emerson will be the Mariners' everyday shortstop if he continues to improve and stays in that uniform. Because you never know with trades and things like that. But he's a special defender.
The defense prioritizes him more than the offense when it comes to Emerson.
Yeah, he's just a better defender right now. He's going to be fine on the offensive end. He's a really truly advanced defender. And like we talked about in the former shows, when you're one of those guys that are from the Midwest, you usually see a defender that's kind of a cold weather area. Usually they coming from Florida or the Dominican or Arizona, California, Texas, those types of things. But he's an Ohio type kid. So yeah, his defense is fantastic, and his offense is going to be good too. I'm a huge Colt Emerson fan, and when you talk about Cole Young, Colt Emerson, there's your middle infield for the future. So those are the guys that I think the Mariners can hold their hat on for a long time.
Last thing for you. Ben Williamson, of course, goes down with the Suarez trade. He's gone down to Tacoma on, I think it was Thursday night. He had ended up hitting 2 home runs for the Rainiers. What is it that Ben Williamson, from a scout's perspective, and if you were working for the Mariners, what would you need to see from from Ben Williamson and his time down in Tacoma that would benefit, that he needs to improve on? Some of the signs that you would need to see at the plate that would allow him to take the next step next year, the next few years, to be the everyday third baseman for the Mariners?
Well, the position he plays, that's more of a position where they project home runs. So he's got to show more power. So obviously going down and hitting some home runs, and just got to walk a little bit more. You got a little bit more selective in what he does. And I think the sample size that he had up in the big leagues this year was great. I think he'll come back up in September. I think he's a better offensive Dylan Moore when it's all said and done. I don't know if he's going to be your everyday third baseman, but I like him. I like him a lot as a player, but I kind of also see him as a utility type, role type player, unless that bat really develops, and the only time will tell when it comes to that bat.
Okay, so on next week's visit, I think it will make it our last one when we do next week's Scout. I want to just kind of wrap up all of the guys in the minors. We'll talk a little bit more about probably Emerson and some of the guys that are down in Arkansas, Las Montez and all those guys, Farmello, Arroyo, and then we'll kind of put the finishing touches on that one, and we'll give you a break because it's listen, this has been a lot of work for you. There's a lot of work for you coming on every single week.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
All right, Scout. We will talk to you next week as we'll make our final visit with you next Friday. Thank you so much. As always, the Scout joins us every Friday. The real scoop on the Mariners and baseball from our anonymous baseball scout has been working and covering the sport here for the past 30 years. You find it every Friday on the Daily Puck Drop here on pucksports.com. Big thanks again to the Scout. And again, next week will be our last visit with our Scout, who again has been with us all baseball season and taking you behind the scenes of the Mariners and baseball. Hopefully everyone has enjoyed it every single week. Just kind of get that, uncensored view on prospects. And I loved what I heard about Samad Taylor. I don't know much about Samad Taylor at all. I've never seen Samad Taylor play, but asking him, could he fill the role that Dylan Moore currently occupies? And he said, without a doubt. So we'll see what the Mariners do here shortly. And again, rosters will expand here in a few weeks. Be interesting to see what that they will do moving forward in terms of lineup and things like that. But it has reached a point, I think, with Moore that it's not going to be a turnaround. This has gone on far too long for him. When you watch him at the plate, it's a hard watch because he just looks completely defeated up there. And then that is what the worry is, especially when someone is struggling at the plate, is you take it to the field. And unfortunately, he's taken it to the field. So an option could be Samad Taylor. And you heard him say there that, an option to back up J.P. Crawford for a spell him for a game or two could be Cole Young. Cole Young spent a lot of time in the minors playing that. Now, I don't think it's going to be his position. And most people and most insiders who follow them and scout them do not believe Cole Young will be the shortstop, that he'll stay at second base. Cole Emerson is the guy who plays shortstop. And that's all he plays is shortstop. So, and he appears to be ready to go next year. Now, but again, J.P. Crawford's under contract for one more year, and I don't know, maybe something happens. I don't think anything's going to happen in the offseason. Maybe something happens at the trade deadline, but Colt Emerson probably up at some point to get a cup of coffee with the team. And then after next year will be your everyday shortstop moving forward. So big thanks to the Scout. Again, next week will be the final visit there with the Scout. We kind of turn more of our attention in to the football season. And I can announce that on Fridays, we'll have a bunch of football stuff on Fridays, but one of our guests that's going to be joining us every Friday to preview the upcoming weekend of Seahawks football, the one and only, the great, the godfather of Seahawks football, ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Bob Condotta of the Seattle Times will be joining us every Friday through the football season to give you the very latest on the Seahawks' their upcoming game that week. All right, before we get in other news and hey, what the puck? Puck's Posse shows this week. I don't want to do this, probably do this every Friday, just give everyone just a little taste of what we've been doing. If you're not a member, that's okay. You still can sign up to become a member. But again, we do so much free content every day, but we also add bonus shows throughout the week. So for anyone that signs up to become a Puck's Posse member for $5, or you can sign up for a year when you get a discount, it's like $55. We just give you a little something extra. Now, we always play clips of Divish every single week and the Sports Pit, and we give you Mitch Levy and KJ Arntz free during the live show, but once it's over and it's podcasted, the only way to watch or listen to it is become a Puck's Posse member. But for those who are not members yet, you're like, I'm kind of on the fence. We got 3 shows this week, all great. It's fun to talk to all these guys every single week. On the Sports Pit this week with myself, Steve Sandmeyer, and Matt Stretch Johnson. Those new episodes come out every Tuesday. And by the way, this week's Sports Pit and our MLB Insider Show with Brian Divish, I've unlocked both of those. So they currently are free. Just go to pucksports.com, click on that, click on the top. There's a link that takes you to the Puck Posse page, and it will take you right to Patreon, which is where the audio and video is for both of those podcasts with Steve Sandmeyer, Matt Stretch Johnson, Sports Pit, and Ryan Divish. Anyways, on this week's episode of the Sports Pit, we talked a lot about Josh Naylor and the three of us, our love affair for Josh Naylor and making Josh Naylor a priority here in the offseason to try and re-sign him.
4 years and I think $60 million. So they got him at 15 per, and he hit 40 bombs every year and basically annihilated the entire narrative and even was an outlier statistically on right-handed hitters, having it be a graveyard for right-handed hitters at T-Mobile. Naylor is unique, and I'm not making any linear comparison between Nelson Cruz and Josh Naylor, but all the things I just said about him, he is a very unique guy that I think could potentially overcome this ballpark. And I'm not being like dramatic or adding hyperbole to this. Offensive players have to overcome the ballpark. We've known it for years. And I think Naylor has enough of a unique set of skills and enough check boxes off to where this park may not adversely affect him as much as it would other players that come into this ballpark in this market.
And again, that's just, our discussion about Naylor, what they could offer Josh Naylor to convince him to re-sign here in the offseason. On this week's show with Ryan Divish, our MLB Insider show, Divish back covering the Mariners at the Seattle Times on a full-time basis. This was before Logan Gilbert had made his last start. And the discussion was with Logan Gilbert, his issues with not being able to work deeper into games. What was causing them?
A lot of pitching coaches and just coaches in general. And, you read about this stuff. It's like you tell them it's a race to get to 2 strikes and then finish them. So get to 2 strikes as fast as you possibly can. And then once you get to 2 strikes, go for the kill. Because strikeouts are great, especially with runners on base. But what's happening is he gets to 2 strikes a lot of times. He ends up going to 3 balls plus some foul balls. And I'd have to look at his average pitches per plate appearance to pitchers, but hitters. But it does seem like, at least in the couple that I've watched closely in person, it's like he gets to where he wants to go, goes for the kill, and isn't getting that swing and miss pitch that he maybe had before. And sometimes it's down to execution where it's just off or it's just not a competitive pitch and they don't swing at it. And sometimes it's like, I think, scouting report, they kind of know what's coming and they're not going to chase it. And they call it going strike to ball. Some of the pitches that maybe he got swings and misses on a year ago, he's not getting swings and misses on now. But that can change too. You tweak something here or there and, find something and he'll go.
And again, that was before Gilbert made his last start. And Gilbert was very good in his last start there in Baltimore. Didn't quite finish 7 innings, but got into the 7th inning. But again, something he still needs to work on there for Logan Gilbert as the season goes on, just working deeper and later into games. Our final bonus show here for Puck's Posse members that comes out on Thursdays is our visit with Mitch Levy, of course, host of the Mitch Unfiltered podcast. And he joins me every Thursday for another edition of KJ Arntz. I've been holding this question or topic for a long time. We just haven't been able to get to it. But I've always been curious with Mitch because I didn't know. I'm always curious of why people get into certain professions. And on this week's show, I asked him, why sports broadcasting? Why did you get into it?
Father was very sports inclined, played, fan. And we did nothing but play sports and talk about sports. We played everything. My brothers are both good athletes, and my dad loved watching sports. That's all we did was watch sports. When I was growing up in the 1970s, when my dad would put on sports, inevitably Howard Cosell was on. I was sitting with my father, 1976, so I was 9 years old. We were watching ABC, and Sugar Ray Leonard was fighting in the gold medal game, the gold medal bout against the Cuban fighter, whoever the Cuban fighter was. And Sugar Ray beat his ass. Howard was screaming, Howard Cosell. And this literally was the moment I decided I wanted to become a sportscaster. Howard was yelling, Sugar Ray Leonard is teaching the Cuban a boxing lesson. He was screaming into the mic. And I was like, oh my God, that's what I want to be. When I grow up, that's what I want to be.
And that was a fantastic kind of insight there from Mitch. It was a really fun conversation yesterday there with Mitch. And again, all 3 of those are available for Puck's Posse members. I just love Mitch sharing that story, why he got into it. We all have stories why we get into this business. They're all different. Sometimes they're the same and unique and all that. But all three of those every week available for Puck's Posse members. $5 a month to get a discount if you sign up for a year. The QR code, if you're streaming the show, will take you right there on the bottom of the screen, or easiest way, pucksports.com. Just go to pucksports.com and sign up there. All right. We got Hey What the Puck coming up here momentarily. But before that, it's our segment In Other News, things that we missed throughout the day, things that we just don't get to during the show. In other news, baseball fans in Milwaukee are getting free hamburgers, and this has a Seattle connection. And the number, it all makes sense. It's so funny. George Webb restaurants are going to give away burgers at all of their 23 locations for the Brewers winning 12 straight games. Just keep in mind 12 straight games. The tradition started back in the 1940s when Milwaukee was home to the minor league Brewers, and George Webb gave away free burgers for winning 17 straight games. The promotion then dropped to 13 games when the Braves played in Milwaukee, starting in 1953. But they never won that many games before they moved to Atlanta in 1966. Then George Webb restaurants were like, okay, let's change the promotion. Let's go for, we had 17, then it was 13. How about we change it to 12? When the Brewers moved from, that's right, Seattle, 12. Of course, when the Pilots played 1 year, and then they moved to, Bud Selig took them to Milwaukee. In 1987, they opened up the season with 13 wins in a row, and it gave away more than 1,000 burgers. They also accomplished the feat in 2018, winning the last 8 regular season games, and they went on in the playoffs to win 4 straight, so they gave it away then. Earlier this season, before they did it this week, earlier this season, remember, the Brewers had won 11 straight, but then they could not get 12. So they got 12 straight free burgers Wednesday for everyone there in Milwaukee. And by the way, side note on Milwaukee, great, fine American city. If you are a baseball fan and you're one of these guys who maybe like me, I take my kids or my son on these baseball trips or sports trips, and we go to different places all the time, every year. We went to Milwaukee a few years ago. If you've never been there, I highly recommend it. It is a great ballpark. It's a fun city. There's lots to do. You will be absolutely entertained if you take your child to Milwaukee to catch a Brewers game. All right, in other news coming out of the NFL, Rams quarterback Matt Stafford's going to work out tomorrow. Second time he's going to throw in like this controlled environment. We talked to Mike Garafolo yesterday from the NFL Network. You know, he has not practiced. He's been dealing with that aggravated back issue. So we'll see if Matt Stafford is going to be ready for the season opener, which is 21 days away. Jimmy Garoppolo is the backup quarterback with the Rams. In other news, there's one other NFL game tonight taking place besides the Seahawks and Chiefs. The Falcons are taking on the Titans. They got on that dust up this week. Michael Penix is not going to start tonight because he was involved in that brawl that led him to be on the bottom of a pile of a fight. So I'm not going to put him in this game there against the Titans. In other news, football, if you needed another reminder that football is just different in the South, here's your further example of that. Buford High School defeated Milton High School last night. Game was shown on ESPN. I don't know which one, but it was on one of the ESPNs, which is the Milton High School is the 2-time defending champion. And Buford won 20-13. That's not the story. The story is where they played. Because the headline for the new home for Buford High School, they played in it last night. They debuted it. It's a new stadium, high school stadium, that's 10,000 seats. It has 15 luxury suites. It has a 3,500 square foot video scoreboard. It has a 2-story field house with locker rooms, and it cost $62 million. High school football stadium in Buford, Georgia. County, I believe, paid for 70% of it. Unbelievable. There are pictures of it on the internet. It is nicer than the majority of college football stadiums in the country. It's that beautiful. The NCAA's Committee on Infractions ruled on Michigan's advanced scouting case. Today, the school facing a series of fines that could eclipse $30 million. But They avoided punitive penalties such as postseason bans or vacating victories, including during the 2023 National Championship season. The NCAA also imposed an additional 1-game suspension for Coach Sharon Moore, which will be served for the first game of the 2026 season. He's expected to serve his 2-game suspension in the upcoming season, which ESPN back in May reported on. He also received a 2-year show cause penalty, and the NCAA committee also levied an 8-year show cause penalty for the Michigan staffers, Connor Stallions, who was doing all the dirty work, and a 10-year show cause penalty for ex-coach Jim Harbaugh, who is now in the NFL. So there you go. That's the latest on Michigan. Also, finally, new Washington State football coach Jimmy Rogers said after practice yesterday he will not publicly announce his starting quarterback before the season opener against Idaho on August 30th. The 4-way competition is between Zevi Eckhouse, Jackson Potter. Both of those two guys were there last year. And then transfers Julian Duggar from Pitt and Johnny Shepard from Rutgers. It's going to be Zevi. All right. All right. Finally, Hey, What the Puck, which is brought to you by Restoration One of North Seattle. We close every show with this. It's your restoration company that lets you avoid the stress of water, fire, mold damage with their property restoration services, locally owned and operated. Make them your first call when those damages affect your residential or commercial property. 206-817-8917. Visit them online at restoration1.com, the North Seattle franchise. Name, image, and likeness in high school sports. Well, the premise of this idea, certainly, I can support and get behind it. Local kids working with local companies to put a few dollars in their pockets. Sure, it all makes sense. Sounds like a good idea. Sounds like a win-win for everyone. However, you know there will be, and probably already has been, a dark side to this because we've seen it in college sports. Companies led by powerful individuals who are associated with a particular school will use that now to funnel money to kids and families in order to get them to transfer to different schools, just like we've seen in college. And just like college, there are no rules or regulations to govern this. The WIA is stretched thin. They do not have the manpower to watch over this. No way will they be able to monitor, nor are they capable to monitor and handle this properly. It's not their fault. I worry about the kids and the families involved in this. I hope they don't get there. And I hope for their sake that they don't get taken advantage of, because this is opening the door for people to take advantage of kids and families. That's Hey, What the Puck, brought to you by Restoration One of North Seattle, your restoration company that's going to take care of you. Avoid the stress of water, fire, mold damage, whether it's to your commercial property or it's your residential property. They're going to take care of you. 206-817-8917. Tell them I sent you. Visit them online. They're the best in the business. Restoration1.com. That's a numeral 1, by the way, the North Seattle franchise. All right. Thank you for everyone watching and listening today. Thank you to all our sponsors, Limback Lumber, A Clean Streak, Brotherton Cadillac, Georgetown Brewery. Check out their new brand new tavern beer. There it is, tavern beer. It's brewed here, right here, right here. Not someplace else. Georgetown Brewery, tavern beer. Also, Restoration One. Today's Daily Puck Drop, find it up on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel. Also, find the Daily Puck Drop on your favorite podcast platforms, and you can find everything at pucksports.com. When you're there at pucksports.com, sign up to become a Pucks Posse member. You support all the free shows that we do here daily, plus you get bonus shows throughout the week. Sports Pit with Steve Sandmeyer and Matt Stretch Johnson. Our MLB Insider Show with Ryan Divish, KJ Arntz, there with Mitch Levy, that comes out on Thursdays. All of it available. Simply just go to pucksports.com. Another week in the books. We will talk to you again on Monday at 10. Until then, as always, promise to be better.
No shoes, no ties.
Would anybody like to smoke some pot?
Yeah.
I was born to love you. I was born to lick your face. I was born to rub you. But you were born to rub me first.
What do you need my address for?
We'd like to send out a mailer.
Mother of mercy, I don't speak Japanese!